Hey, fantastic fam. Welcome to our community where we combine the woo and the work. We are two professional women who believe we can have it all and constantly upgrade ourselves to meet our visions. I'm Kalyani and I've chosen the off-roading path to personal development, being an entrepreneur with the journey of motherhood. I'm an economics postgraduate and I love working with all things mind and money. I've founded and sold one business and I'm now building this business that feels like fun and freedom for life.
Hi, I'm Rupali. I'm a numbers nerd turned Reiki master and many other things. I found a passion for all things wellness. I've worked in banking and finance for 15 years and I love combining that knowledge with all things energetics to create impact in a fun, easy way for others. Join us as we share the behind the scenes of us creating wealth, freedom, and magic. I don't have what it takes. Is this something you find yourself thinking or feeling? Do you allow a thought like this to stop you from going after what you want? Is this something that stops you in your tracks as you're planning the next big thing? Or even taking a small step and then justifying to yourself why it's not important in the grander scheme of things? Then this is an important thought because it's a little bit of imposter, right? A lot of us, and I face this too sometimes in certain situations where I feel I have to really prepare for something, like if it's a presentation or if it's anything, like even this podcast. Then going back to the earlier days when we started, Kalyani and I said, are we able to do this? And we really had a chat. While it was fun, exciting, and we kind of said yes straight away, we took a step back and we said, are we able to do this? And do we have enough to talk about? And the funny thing is, the whole idea behind the podcast was really sharing our conversations that we have with each other and record them and share them with you, because most of our conversations are on growth and personal growth and spirituality. Money is a huge part of what we do. My whole background is the financial services sector, numbers, maths and stats. Kalyani is a financial coach with a degree in economics, and we've both qualified in many different modalities. And so, of course, we have what it takes. But we did have that thought. We list out 55 or 60 topics before we even recorded the first podcast to tell our minds, no, we do have what it takes and we'll be okay. So I think that this is where imposter can show up, right? And the good thing is we both are quite aware of the thoughts we think and the beliefs we hold. And we're also aware on how to overcome these. But we do get caught in our tracks in certain situations, and it's a good reminder for us also. And so when you're feeling like, am I enough? Am I worth putting myself out there in this way? Whether it's for a relationship, whether it's for a work project, whether it's something you've studied and you want to start practicing and create a business out of, then this is a really, really important kind of point to bring to your awareness, because you may struggle making progress if you hold this belief and are not aware of it, of not being enough. And how does this belief show up? This belief shows up in over preparation. Like I mentioned, we listed 55, 60 podcast topics, and our plan was to release once a week. So we really put topics down for more than 1 year. Was that really required? No. Actually, it wasn't required at all, because like I said, we didn't even look at those topics. We didn't even talk about those topics because we just love what we do. And so we spoke about what felt good and felt relevant in the moment. So that's how it can show up. How else can it show up? It can show up as perfecting something, wanting to perfect the work you're doing, and reviewing and going into an anxious cycle. It could show up as inaction. It could show up as procrastination through action. So doing everything else but this that you want to do. So we also often laugh about this, that when we, any project we work on, even for SS, We've got some exciting projects coming up, and we have to really hold ourselves, we have to really take a look at ourselves and see whether are we creating work so that we feel productive, or is it something that's required for the project? Because it's human nature. Procrastination through busyness and saying, oh wow, I've spent these months putting this perfect thing together, and then I'll be there. Or I'm getting there. Now, I'm not saying don't prepare. Preparation is number one. But there does come a point where you have to take action. And so when you're coming across this thought of, am I enough? Will I be okay? Remind yourself of what you've done in the past. What have you achieved? It could be little things. It could be something like you've helped someone in a way that no one else could have. It could mean a little thing like, helping someone in a way that even you didn't think that, oh, I'm helping this person. It was just came second nature to you. So those are kind of, ways that you can remind yourself of what you are capable of. If you've studied, you've qualified as something, that's, of course, a big sign that you've achieved. Then anything else in your personal capacity, professional capacity, really list out what you've achieved. Any comments people have made, given to you, any feedback you've been given, anything that you can think of, and list it out as a reminder to yourself. Then ask friends and family for feedback, for their thoughts on you, for certain situations. You can ask a simple question like, I'm listing out my achievements. I'm listing out ways that I make impact on people's lives. If you're happy to share any thoughts on me making an impact on anyone else's lives or your lives, then that'd be welcome. Friends. Because there's things that we do that we don't even see. And it's the things that we do that we don't see and we belittle the most are probably the big ones. And I've reached out in my growth journey. I've reached out to friends and family to give me some feedback, and I've been surprised with the results. And people are willing to share. People observe a lot, and your support circle is where you start. So really remind yourself what you have done in the past, what you have achieved in the past. Then kind of do a bit of a checklist if that's how you operate. What is it that I need to do to achieve this task or this project? What are the bare basics I need? And which of these items I've put on the list are things that are nice to have, which are the ones that I should have and I need to have, and which are the ones that I'm adding because I'm creating work. Because you really know, right? But then you know that what's required. Then look out for expanders. Now, what are expanders? Expanders are people that give you a vision of what's possible out there, what's possible for them, and hence what's possible for you. So if you see, Kalyani and I take inspiration from many different people, online, offline, you name it. And it's quite fun actually, because it's a nice reminder of how little is required. People that have been so successful have not always had the best, perfectly put together product. But what did we like about them? What did we spend on? What product did we get in exchange? It wasn't the package or it wasn't the prettiness of the product. It was more their energy, their expertise, their confidence. So it's about becoming confident in your abilities. It's about reminding yourself of your intentions for why you want to create the product. It's not because, it may not be because you want to become a billionaire. Yes, money is a real world thing we need to live in this world, but it may be because you think it'll genuinely help people and you want a way for people to access this. Just remind yourself of your intentions. So, checklist. Go back to what you have achieved, what you require for this project or the product, and what are your intentions for this. And then lastly, write down what is the worst possible outcome of this. Like, what is the worst possible outcome of going ahead with and doing it? And how many times have you in the past questioned your kind of abilities and gone ahead anyway? And how has that turned out for you? So I think this is where we come full circle, where you kind of keep the mind a little happy. You surrender a little. You create space. Also, meditation, nervous system regulation is a huge part in the moments where you feel like you're getting overwhelmed. But then also, what is the worst that will happen? Okay, the worst is that, maybe 100 people don't buy it, maybe 5 people buy it. But will those 5 people get value out of what they buy? Likely yes, right? Because you do believe in what you're kind of putting together. So I think that this is a short episode to just give you some food for thought if you're stuck in inaction because of certain thoughts you may have around about your abilities, about value, about who pays for this already exists out there, any questions that the mind is throwing at you, just to overcome that and to be able to take action. So that brings me to the end of this episode. Let me know if you try it, what you thought, how you felt, any experiences you've had. Like I say, always say we love hearing from you on social media. And so absolutely reach out and share your experience.
We would really appreciate your feedback as reviews on the podcast app you tune in from. Support us also by sharing this podcast with 3 of your besties who would benefit from being fantastic.